Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. It's a beautiful day for the Pirate Broadcast, and this is episode 300. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. It's been a long, fascinating, exciting journey, and we have Scott Shalom Klein on board for number 300, and we've actually met, and I've been on your show before, and so welcome to the party, and thank you so much for being here, Scott.
Absolutely. Now you get to see me not just as a host, but you get to see me as a guest. I'll see if I can deliver on the expectations over here.
Well, it's often interesting when I'm on other people's podcasts or shows because I'm so used to being on the interview side. So it's a little bit of a change, and it's always fascinating to engage in a different way and attempt to bring value to the table. And value is something that you've always been doing. You know, you're military, you're service focused. There's a lot of interest in providing value to your community. So talk a little bit about what you're focusing in on today and what brought you to where you are today, kind of your backstory and journey with the military and the service that you do.
Sure. I appreciate the chance to be on the show with you, Russ, and episode 300. Congratulations to you. It's awesome. And the funny thing is that you mentioned, the awkwardness. You weren't awkward. The awkwardness of jumping from the host to the guest side. I actually did exactly the opposite when I started hosting my radio show. So I went from being very frequently a guest to suddenly being a host. Wow. So it is a lot of fun. It's cool. And hey, listen, I have a hunch, some great things in store. But in terms of me, hail from the windy city of Chicago, yeah. And actually just north, for some of your viewers that might be familiar, Skokie, Illinois. And grew up always very passionate about community, but not really knowing how to call it, sort of focus my efforts on community. I actually had planned on becoming a rabbi, which I thought is the way that you could be behind the pulpit and make an impact in community. Uh-huh. Long story short, I went to school in Israel, Detroit, New York, and then discovered that really what I love is management, administration, keeping the balls, moving to make things happen. I worked in New York for a couple of years, moved back to Chicago 11, 12 years ago, joined my dad in business, an accounting firm. I ran the firm, but at the same time, in the midst of the last recession, 2009-ish, I realized so many people out of work, businesses struggling, people unemployed, and I made it my mission to make an impact. Started a couple of nonprofits dedicated to small business jobs and entrepreneurship, which over the course of about 6 years drew a little over 50,000 people to events, programs, resources all over the place. In 2014, I was appointed chair of the Economic Development Commission, position I still hold. I also am chairing the COVID Recovery Task Force. I started hosting a radio show in Chicago. I see from the comments, it looks like you might have some Midwesterners out there. So AM 560 in the Chicago market, but you can find it online too. It's called Get Down to Business. Yeah. That's the show now for almost 7 years. And I also host a podcast called We All Serve, which really ties into that passion that I discovered for community impact. And in about 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, I joined the Army. At the old age of 29, I joined the Army, commissioned as an officer, and proud to serve. So that's, I guess, me in a nutshell.
Well, fantastic, and thank you so much for your service. I really can see why we are drawn to each other and how we enjoy and appreciate this, serving others and organizing people to come together for a cause. And that's really a theme that I think is critical in 2020 and going forward into 2021. And I know that there are so many people out there that are looking for influence or inspiration or motivation or something to encourage them to move forward with a positive outcome. And so some of the things that you're doing on the show, I know are around that topic, business and organization and service. And talk a little bit about the show. Share the show, because if you're not connected to Scott, get connected. The pirate community is in alignment with his beliefs, his philosophy, and his ideas that he's putting out there in the world. So support this individual and support Scott. Shalom, Klein. So.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, the show has been fun. I mean, I've really found my, call it, rhythm with the program. I was on the air last night, and I was thinking about it a lot. I go for long walks to reflect, and we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
But that's sort of my proactive time, the time that I have a chance to think. Last night, I was actually thinking a lot about the show and where it started to where it is now. And one thing that has remained consistent is I don't do a lot of talking. It's all about guests. On the average show, last night being a good example, I had 4 guests on my 1-hour show. So that didn't leave a lot of time for me to rant and ramble. And I know many talk show hosts, that is sort of their mantra and their focus is sharing their perspectives. I don't want to share my perspectives. I want to feature entrepreneurs. I want to feature people that are making a difference. In particular, my philosophy, and by the way, I'll say this, I believe it is important for businesses to have a mission and have a philosophy that's not unique to the nonprofit world. And so my philosophy is absolutely that in business, it is really the linchpin and the massive opportunity to make an impact in community. I'll give you an example. This morning, I went to visit a new small business where I am. I happen to be in Yuma, Arizona today, and new local business for anybody out in Yuma Bagel. They opened last week. Picked up some bagels for the team out here, and they are all about community. They're all about bringing people together. That is part of who they are, which is so important. Yeah. So I love to feature entrepreneurs that are making a difference in their respective communities. And to answer some of the questions again, AM 560 in Chicago is the show. But you can find it online. You can go to my website, shalomklein.com. And you can download podcasts from the past almost 7 years of programs.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I love the idea, and the businesses that really bring it home to the community are the ones that really shine all the time. And I know a lot of businesses, they're adjusting. A lot of businesses have to adjust. Restaurants, especially, the service industries are really under challenging conditions. I'll just say that. And my heart goes out to all the people that are having a bit of a challenge right now. And it's even more important that we actually come together as a community and support these individuals in a way that we can, any way that we can. And, takeout is support the takeout industry. I talked to one restaurant owner a little while ago, and he says his business has shifted is now shifting to 70% takeout and 30% dine-in. And that'll probably be shifted to 100% if, things get any more challenging. And I just think about how that impacts everybody that's serving that business and, how it can stay intact and how it operates. And that's the whole process of being an entrepreneur. And, like you said, serving the business in a way that it can be served is like figuring it out, discovering new ways to serve the public, new ways to serve the community, new ways to interact with the community. So what are some of the things that you see out there that, you're in business every day, you're helping organize these platforms and everything else. And what do you see that has been really creative in the community as far as responding to the current conditions?
Yeah, I mean, people are really giving. People, I think, at least, I know in Chicago, people, I think, are very open-minded and understanding that we're living in a whole new world. I hate the term social distancing. Just want to put it out there. It's only physical distancing. Social distancing. I'll tell you that the silver lining for me in the spirit of, in the middle of COVID has been connecting with amazing friends like you, Russ, and obviously all of your viewers and listeners, which is exciting. I've actually done more of that in the past couple of months than I have in the past couple of years, because life gets so busy and you're running around like a lunatic trying to just catch up with the day. And for me, COVID-19 has given me the opportunity to reconnect with folks that I haven't spoken to in a while. I actually have reconnected with some of my teachers from and classmates from literally over a decade ago, which is awesome.
Wow.
I also, really awesome conversations, catching up, and I feel terrible because I consider myself to be a pretty good communicator, but life gets in the way. So COVID certainly has helped with that, but also in terms of getting involved in other things in community, things that I at some point, you never want to plateau. You never want to just get involved in the same things and just sort of fall into a rhythm. For me, COVID, I think, was that like kick in the behind, like sort of shake things up a little bit, whether in business, which businesses I've seen some awesome innovation. I try to feature some of them on my radio show, but also in community organizations making an impact. And for me, it's given me an opportunity to get involved in organizations that I've thought about, that I get their emails, but I haven't had a chance to sit in on something, but suddenly everybody's doing things through Zoom. So I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I can learn about those organizations. And I have had a drop of an opportunity to reset. I mentioned that I serve in the Army. So for me, getting involved in some of these amazing veterans organizations, I'll give a shout out to the Heroes to Heroes Foundation, helping to prevent veteran suicide. Amazing work. I'm the employer outreach director for the Illinois ESGR, the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. Amazing organization under the Department of Defense. Awesome organizations doing incredible things. And I've been able to lead by example by stepping up and getting involved as well.
That is fantastic. And like I said, that is the kind of activity that is always refreshing to hear about, because one thing that we can do, we don't always have control over everything that happens to us. We have control over what we do with what happens to us. And I think that's so important for people to realize, that you do have control over the outcome of what you take responsibility for. And if you take action and respond and help and assist everybody that you can, it really makes a huge difference. And I actually put an outreach out this weekend to all of the pirates and challenged the pirates in the community. Everybody that's been on the show, it's like, I want to come back and I want to promote your business. I want to promote what you're doing. So jump on a call with me. We're going to create a 5-minute follow-up, or, we'll call it, I had a good branding name for it. I'll come back to that later. And let's just jump on a call, create a promo for your business, and let people know what you're doing, so we can put it out there again and share some things to make sure that you're, people aware of what you're doing, how you're doing it, who you help, how you help, and how they reach out to you. And just little things like that, and getting creative with what you're doing with your business is so important these days. And it's just so critical. And it doesn't take a lot of energy. It just takes a little bit of focus to understand what needs to happen next.
I agree completely. And again, right now, the innovation that we're seeing is incredible. So I'm a big fan, as I mentioned, of businesses serving as sort of that corner cafe in their communities. And they're on the ground floor of hearing what people need. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be for profit. You should aim to make as much money as you possibly can, for sure. But hear what's going on, and it's okay to put up a bulletin board and bring people together. Try to create jobs that way. I discovered that 10, 11 years ago, that I discovered the best way to help others is by letting people help themselves, by bringing people together. Sure, in this day and age, we cannot have a networking gathering in the same way that we had. I'm
Yeah.
hopeful that will become a possibility again very, very soon. But embrace the technology. I mean, look at everything in life with a silver lining, and look at the pirate broadcast. And this is awesome. Indeed, I mean, I'm not even kidding. A pirate broadcast, the idea of podcasting, the idea of what you are doing through 300 now plus episodes is something that would not have been viewed as normal
Yeah.
just a short time ago. And you're putting out information from some awesome people. I mean, with the exception of me, but I guess episode number 300 had to do something out of the norm. So here we go. But some pretty awesome people, and hopefully everybody's learning a lesson from something. And that's my philosophy every day. Is I could probably count on, and I won't lie, there have been maybe I kind of my fingers over here on one hand the number of times that I've walked away from a meeting without having a next step, without having something that I've learned from that conversation. But almost across the board, I learn something from everybody, whether it's a job seeker I'm meeting with or a Fortune 500 CEO. You learn something that you can take away and put into practice in your business, in your organization, or in community.
Well, and the beautiful thing about it is you don't know who will bring the inspiration or that idea or turn that question around and say, okay, how can we do this? You don't know where it's going to come from. That's why I love the pirate broadcast community, is that it's broad and it's a range of individuals that are bringing different topics to the table. And that way it's going to spark somebody's conversation later down the road or even during the conversation and say, wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. I hadn't imagined an outcome like that. And so I'm humbled. I'm so excited to continue this for another 300. My son goes, Dad, talk to me when you get 1,000 down.
Really? You got to celebrate those round numbers. 300. That's a big deal. Congratulations to you, Russ. I mean, hey, feel free, have your son reach out to me, and I can tell you every one of these episodes, it's hard work. And I mean, the community that you've built is totally awesome. And I imagine, and you and I have talked about this in a previous conversation, that you learn something from all of these people that you're connecting with every day.
Absolutely. I want to go back and shout out to a couple of individuals. Angie, she's your neighbor up there. Happy 300 episode. Candace Bell, Smiles. Wow, 300. Howard Kaufman. Howard Kaufman is a great individual to connect with. He has the mouth care system, oral. He's been a pirate and he's been an advocate for the community here. Gabriel, good morning. Happy Monday. Joseph is on. Good morning. I'm listening to Day Trading. Great message. And Angie says, thank you for your service. Tracy says, happy 300th episode. And then Howard says, as you mentioned, 5:60 a.m., the old wind. Fantastic. So, Deneen, on what station is the show? Is it local Chicago or broadcast elsewhere? So
again, the station is local to Chicago, Midwest, really, AM 560. But you can also get on the station's website or get on my website, shalomklein.com, or any of my social media platforms to check out the show. Russ, while you're continuing to maybe spotlight some of those comments, I am curious what people are doing as they wrap up 2020. I think it's pretty much we could see we're in December. It's time for those New Year's resolutions. What are people doing to call it make the world a better place in 2021?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we'll throw it out to the community here. That anyone that has some feedback on that, we'd love to hear back from you. Joseph says, keep spreading the love. So, insight and inspiration, Mike Baker. Let's see. Oh, and Joseph says, people still need those labor jobs, learning experiences to achieve the next level of success. Absolutely. And maybe you could talk about generating those, because I mean, being in the military now is one thing. And I was reading a kind of a staggering statistic that 270,000 civilians are or military personnel are exiting the military every year. So I've had people on the show talking about that and the transferable skills that are necessary to actually graduate from the military, come out of the military, and go back into civilian life and use those skills in another way. And the military has, different ways of, naming conventions and different skill sets that they address. And a lot of people have a difficult time going back into civilian life. So that's one thing that I know that you do, and a lot of people in the pirate community assist, is the veterans and giving back to the veteran community.
Yeah.
And so that's one area that I really think is could use a lot of attention and never gets enough attention.
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So I'll say this, that I went into the Army, as I mentioned, at a different age than many.
Mm-hmm.
I went in at 29. I'm finishing my doctorate now. So I went in with a master's degree. But I've met some of the most amazing people through my service. But you're absolutely right that many folks are exiting, but they're leaving with the most incredible skills. I mean, it doesn't matter the rank. Even a private is leaving with the responsibility of managing equipment to the tune of millions of dollars, and having the responsibility for other people's lives. As you go up in rank, you're responsible for supervising many people. As a junior officer, I know that you go in on day one supervising almost 50 plus people. Where on the civilian side, can you point to experience that a 20-something-year-old would have that level of experience? So you come out with amazing experiences. So my challenge to business owners that might be tuning in is certainly to consider employing veterans for any of your positions. That's not to say you need to hire exclusively veterans, but that's to say that please be open-minded, that when somebody comes and they're struggling with the transition, because they will struggle, they will struggle with that translation of terminology of their military job description to your civilian job description, or you're considering hiring a National Guardsman or a reservist that will have a responsibility. And I can tell you firsthand, those responsibilities are immense. Of going once a month or for a couple of weeks during the summer, or even being deployed. Please consider that, because they're going to come with amazing experiences and a certain level of maturity and responsibility that you will not find elsewhere. And it is absolutely worthwhile to make that consideration. I challenge you to do it, and please share it with the community to hopefully inspire others. Because the reason I'm out here in Yuma today is exactly that. That level of hiring, and the Yuma Proving Grounds and the Marine Corps Air Station. And all branches are good. Army's the best, and it's almost the Army-Navy game. So go Army, beat Navy. And I'm going to get some hate for that, but hey, it's worth it.
Blow up my stream here.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing to think that and every one of you, every one of us, everyone in the community has an opportunity to make a difference. You have the ability and the opportunity to make it matter to someone somewhere. And so don't be afraid to reach out, make those connections, make those introductions, and make a difference. And I just really appreciate you being here for episode 300. And so what is next on the agenda? What do you see in the next, 18 months, 10 months, 6 months? What's your focus and attention going to be spent on?
That's a very unique question, and I'll explain. It's going to be different than most of the conversations you have. So I'm getting ready. Actually, on that note about military, I'm getting ready for a deployment. Can't really talk about it here, but I am getting ready for a deployment in the coming weeks. That will take me out of pocket for about a year. So that is how my next year is being spent. Okay. But continuing to be focused in all of these areas, I'll continue to, as much as possible, continue networking and focusing over the next month or two on finishing my doctorate, finishing my dissertation, working on that. But certainly my service is first and foremost. And when I come back, definitely will continue to spotlight through my other podcast, and I'll give that a shout out again, the We All Serve podcast, where I interview veterans, folks that have left the service and are in amazing positions. Actually, tonight I'm having a conversation. Tonight, November 30th, I'm chatting with David Muir, who's the Senior Vice President of Easter SEALs, overseeing their Veterans Employment Network. Next week, I'm speaking with retired Brigadier General Gary Prophet, who used to oversee, I think he just retired, overseeing the military program for Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas. So lots of great conversations, hopefully inspiring others.
That's fantastic. Well, keep inspiring others. Keep doing the great work that you're doing and helping those around you. Jeff Young, who is an awesome pirate, said veterans get a free year of LinkedIn Premium so they can go and, for the job market and going out and making connections and things like that. So Michael Hubicki says, good morning, gentlemen. 300 episodes and counting. Congratulations. Thank you, Russ. Your leadership is inspirational. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Joseph says, my father is an ex-Marine. I don't think you're ever an ex-Marine, are you? You're always
No. You know what? Thank you for saying that. No, we always say it in the Army, soldier for life. I imagine in the Marine Corps, it's the exact same thing. So no, never.
Same thing. And Russ Hedge says, Scott, I would say don't give up on what we have left in 2020 and let it propel you into 2021. We have a month left to gain momentum for greatness. And that's a great way of looking at it. I really appreciate you, Russ. Not only because you have a great name, but we're friends and we're connected here in the pirate community. So let's continue to work together. And then Jeff Young also says, good morning, happy 300th. I've been a pirate for a year now. Follow or connect with Russ. He is the bomb. Namaste. Thank you. I love that. Jeff, appreciate you. And Wendy says, good morning, pirates. Happy 300th. Looking forward to the celebration of the 3000th with our pirates.
Well, your son probably put Wendy up to that.
Yes. Look forward to. Thank you for serving, Scott. Appreciate you. Scott, I know that you're busy and you got a lot of things going on, and for some reason we were able to connect, and I'm all the gratitude in the world for our connection, engaging in the community and helping others around us. And I really send you, all good vibes, prayers, and safety on your journey in the next year. And so, are you gonna continue the podcasting? Are you gonna attempt to keep that going as well on your journeys?
Remains to be seen. At the very least, I'll be running some recorded episodes. Whether I'll be able to do any live broadcasts remains to be seen. But definitely there will be new content. There will. And I'm looking forward to obviously connecting with anybody that has a business, that has a story to tell. Always have to get in touch and talk about. That's what the show is all about. And certainly to any of those that are tuning in, if you know somebody that has served, that has a story to share, I love to have those conversations. Personally, I will talk any hour of the day. Literally, I will talk, and whatever I can do to help, and whatever I can do to share that story and hopefully inspire others. That's what it's all about.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's really, and I've had a lot of veterans on the show and talk to them. So if that comes to top of mind, I'll definitely provide introductions and assist you in that conversation. Also, how is the best way that people can get a hold of you if they're attempting to get a hold of you?
Sure.
So share your contact information and how you'd like to get contacted and connected with.
Sure. Best way to find everything about me, there's no secrets with me, is my website, shalomklein.com, shalomklein.com. On the website, got my email address, sk@shalomklein.com. And you can find out about the radio show. And you can find out about the podcast, We All Serve, and find ways that you can give back and get involved in all that. And I look forward to certainly continuing those conversations with anybody that's tuning in.
Well, thank you. I love that we're connected, and I love the fact that we can continue to be connected. And as always, everyone, I thank you so much for being here. All of the comments and the connections in the pirate community is such a powerful tool. It's such a powerful thing that you can actually get connected, stay connected, engage with the community, because the whole premise of this thing and the whole energy that goes into this and the whole effort that goes into this is because kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And if you could just add a little bit into your environment, get the ripple effect going, share the value of, a little bit of kindness, we can make the world a better place. And really in the last year, tomorrow is December. So 2020 is going to be, wrapping up. As we move into 2021, we want to do the best thing that we can, help those others around you, and make the world a better place. So
thank you so much. 300, Russ. Thank you for bringing me on.
Appreciate you. And as I said, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. So you enjoy the day. Take care. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.